Welcome to the Booze Free Babes podcast for women breaking free from booze and stepping into their full potential. Join our sober sisterhood as we share stories, insights, and tips to help you thrive in your booze-free journey. Let's get bold, authentic, and booze-free together, babes. Today, I just think it's so amazing that we get to celebrate you, your sobriety, your birthday, and on the Booze Free Babes podcast. So let's just get started. How are you today, Debbie? Are you having a great birthday so far?
So far, I kind of lounged around this morning, which caused me to be a little bit late for everything, but that's okay. It's my birthday, right? I took the day off, so
it's your birthday. It's allowed. It's your birthday.
That's right. It's acceptable today.
All right. Well, we're going to try to keep this as gentle as possible for you on your birthday, I promise. But basically, the purpose of Booze Free Babes is that we're just here to share about our sober journeys and maybe some cool tips and tricks that you learned along the way that can help us to help other babes on their sober journey.
Sounds good.
All right, so we're just going to dive right into a few questions, and then we'll just have an organic flow of conversation, and you just let me know if you want to stop or anything at any time. But first of all, Debbie, just tell me a little bit about your sober journey. What inspired you to go down this path and really commit and dive into your sobriety, if you feel comfortable sharing?
Sure. Well, it was kind of a forced entry into sobriety, so to speak. It started off when I got a DUI 2 years ago, this coming January. So that kind of put me on the path to sobriety because I knew I had to make some changes in my life at that point. It did take me about 6 months to make that decision because every time I would go out, like I'd have a drink or two, and then I would be like super nervous that this whole like situation would occur again where I'd have another DUI. So to me, like the stress of worrying about that, like I felt like as the months went along, like my choice to become a sober person was just probably the right choice for me. I mean, I've been drinking for like, 25 years. And I felt like, well, there's enough alcohol in your system, poison in your system to live the rest of your life. So one night I was sitting at home and I said, you know what? And I've never done this before. Like I've never tried any kind of sobriety, not 30 days, 7 days, any of those. And I was just sitting there. I was like, you know what? I'm going to try just to see if I can stop drinking. And then I've never went back. Like I've never had another drink since that evening.
That is amazing. And I know that this is very vulnerable for you to share about your DUI experience. And this may even be the first time that you've shared it in a public forum. So I just want to say thank you for sharing that with us and with our viewership. We understand how difficult it is to navigate through some of those situations. So we appreciate your vulnerability.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Okay. So after that decision, did you see that, was it helpful? Did you find at that point, did you feel like you needed to find resources to help you on the sober journey? How was that, like those first few days, and what were your next steps after that?
Oh, absolutely. So I had found a couple of podcasts and I kind of like acclimated or connected with people from Britain. And I don't know if it's because I'm originally from Britain and I felt like my connection was there because we seem to have that vulnerability with alcohol, people from Britain, for whatever reason. I'm not really sure if it's cold weather, but or just family genetics, who knows. So anyway, I went on a couple of podcasts through, Spotify. And there was one girl that I found, and I think she was called Sober Mom, M-U-M, Sober Mom. And I just loved her. Her name was Terry. And I followed her, and she actually had like a monthly group session. She met every week, but you paid like a monthly fee. And that kind of helped me. So I did that. That was one of my big things. I actually connected with you because I had seen a couple of your posts. So I knew that you also were on the sober path or journey. And so I reached out to you and told you about it, that I had, was on the steps to becoming sober. Sorry, I'm a little bit muffled with my words here. And then I was reading a lot of self-help books, just reading a lot, journaling a lot. I got a little bit spiritual. I wouldn't say like fully into it, but I felt like I did need God in my life. I had left him for a long time ago. So I just felt like I needed his guidance and support. So anyway.
That is amazing. So what I'm hearing you say is basically multi-pathways, right? There's multi-pathways to recovery. And so what started out as an inquiry for you led you to doing a little bit of research that then took you down this beautiful explorative journey after following someone on the podcast, right? And then
Yes, correct.
for those of you that don't know, Debbie and I actually know each other professionally and have known each other for probably a decade, right? We've
Yeah,
been
at
friends for a
least.
long time.
Yeah, for sure. So
So
I
it's
trusted Ellen because I wasn't really just talking to anyone that I knew about it because I didn't really know what people's reaction would be. And I think I told you about the DUI up front. I don't think that was something I hid from you because I felt like you should know everything that was going on and why I went the sober path. But I mean, there was only a few people like I told. It took me months to tell my family, which was, whew, that was one of the hardest things.
I found that interesting, actually. Do you want to elaborate on that? Or what was it? What was the resistance in telling them? Was it just, shame and guilt? Or you
Yeah,
answer, I guess.
absolutely. I mean, I raised my two kids by myself, and one of the things I was taught them was had to be respectful and abide by the law. And I got the DUI, so I felt like I had went against what I taught them.
So there was a little bit of discrepancy there. And so you were,
Yes.
ashamed of being honest and vulnerable with them. And I believe my understanding is that you have since shared that with your family, right? And
Yeah.
now it's a cumulative journey for you guys, which
Yeah.
is a beautiful thing to witness and to see that healing journey in your own family. So.
And my sister's been great. She even came from California last week for my DUI hearing.
And I hear that there's something else that we get to celebrate too around that. Do you want to share?
Oh, yes. Thank you, Jesus. It was actually dismissed after it'll be 2 years in January. Yeah, it's probably been over about a year and a half through like the court proceedings because the first time we went to court, it was put on a continuance, I guess you would call it. I'm not really sure the proper term. And we were supposed to have a jury trial the second time that I went back, which would have been last week. But for some reason, it was switched back to just the case being presented to the judge. So anyways, I think he was a little irritated that it had been going on for so long, as well as the fact that the police officer never made any attempt to kind of reduce the charges based on my previous record, because I have no previous record. And I'm turned 58 today. So I had a clean life, basically, so to speak, where I had never been in trouble and, try to live as a good a life and not being an upstanding citizen. And he just would not budge. And so I think the judge was just a little irritated. And I haven't been in any kind of trouble since that time, since January 2023. So he let it go and he just said it was dismissed. So I was like, oh my gosh, thank you so much.
Woohoo! That is so awesome. And let me just clarify here that we're not advocating drunk driving, right? Obviously, we
No.
understand. But I also just want to share that what I've personally witnessed in your life and in your experience since that time has been amazing, leaps and bounds. And so for those of you that don't know, Debbie is very active in the Booze Free Babes. She is actually one of our original admins, and she's very supportive on the back end. We do a lot, right? We have a lot of things going on. We try to do a lot of events. We try to bring a lot of good to the community, and especially information about sobriety. And Debbie is really, really instrumental in that contribution. So we are so grateful for all that you do for the babes.
Thank you. Oh, it helps me immensely. So you
Isn't
guys are
that the
actually giving to
beauty?
me.
It's like the more that we do this, the more it helps us, the more we help other
Yes.
people, the more it helps us, right?
It really
Oh,
does. It really does. I mean,
such
I remember when I was afraid to talk about it with anyone, but now, I am telling people, yes, I did make this mistake. Yes, I did. This did happen to me. Because, people sometimes ask, like, why don't you drink or have you ever drunk? So I like to be honest about it. And I'm getting a little more comfortable telling people when they ask me. So,
I'm so glad to hear that because I genuinely believe that when we can live our sober life out loud, that people see that, it's recognizable, and it lets other people know that it is actually possible. And so I love the
exactly.
fact that you're living a life through example. That's beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I wanted to ask you specifically, I know that you had exposed me actually to a recovery program called SMART. Do you want to chat on that?
Yeah, so I didn't really get too in depth with that group, but I think it was good because it was an online feature or meeting, which was fine for me because I preferred to just do the online rather than going in person. At that point in my recovery, I wasn't ready to really go in an in-person meeting type of setting. So I would listen to them at least once, sometimes twice a week, just depending on the availability. And it was more of they would do teachings, and it wasn't any kind of like religion based, like the Alcoholics Anonymous, right? Is that what you call it? Alcoholics. So theirs is more like religious or Christian based. This is not. So people would just kind of talk and share what they went through or what they're actually going through, because a lot of them actually may not have been in recovery, or they were in recovery and they fell off. They fell off and they're trying to get back on. So I just thought it was really, like, I love hearing people's stories. So to me, that was like just really great for me, because it makes me feel like, Deb, you're not the only one. Like, there's so many people going through challenging times and have addictions. So, and this was all addictions. It wasn't just alcohol or drug addictions. It was all kinds of addictions.
And we actually have smart recovery classes in person here in the Charleston area. I'll be sure to drop a link to the smart recovery when we post this, when this airs actually, and when we post it live. I'll be sure to share that with everyone. So that's just another example of multi-pathways to recovery, right? And to sobriety, is that there's so many tools out there and resources, and SMART is just one of them. One other thing I wanted to mention, our recovery coaching program that we are starting in January.
I'm so excited.
Debbie and I don't know why we thought it'd be a great idea to go back to school for a little bit, but we're really charged with this passion to do recovery coaching. And so we were invited by Favor, which is Faces and Voices of Recovery of the Lowcountry, to participate in their recovery coaching program. It's a certified peer support specialist, and we start classes January 11th and actually end in February. So yay, this is exciting to see how we roll this out and how this can positively impact our Booze Free Babes community. Buying a home or investing in real estate doesn't have to feel overwhelming. At Fraser Lending Group, we're all about guiding you to smart, stress-free financing solutions. I'm Ellen Fraser, mortgage broker who understands your goals and speaks your language. We make homeownership and real estate investing simple and attainable. So whether you're a first-time home buyer or growing your real estate portfolio, we'll find a mortgage strategy that works for you. Because at Fraser Lending Group, your success is our mission.
Yeah, it's really exciting.
What are you most excited about, or are you nervous at all with the recovery coaching?
Oh my God, I'm so nervous. Like, I know it's going to be so vulnerable and like just telling everything. I'm like, but I know I have to do it. So I'm like excited, but very nervous. But you'll be there by my side. So I'm excited about that, because I will have you, my friend. Yes. So I'm excited that I don't have to do it alone.
It's so funny. We were trying to push really hard to get into the October class, and I had gotten accepted. I think you had gotten accepted too, but the time just did not work out. I had a conflict with a work conference, and I think you might have had a conflict too. So divine intervention always steps in and got us both enrolled at the same time. So this is going to be such an amazing opportunity for us to experience it together.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It will be. Because I know I will need your support, for sure.
I'm going to copy off your test. I'm just kidding.
Well, I'm going to copy out your mind.
The other thing too is, what is it that you look to achieve after receiving the recovery coaching designation, and how do you see that playing out next year?
Actually, I've been kind of looking for a different venue to get out of mortgages, to be perfectly honest. Like, I'm just tired. And I actually, when I started my college education, I actually wanted to be like a psychiatrist, psychologist. So I don't know, I may end up going back to school. Not what I want to do, but if I have to, I will. But I mean, some sort of counseling. So I'm thinking that this recovery training will like really help me or enable me to get my resume out there and maybe, have a starting point in the counseling sector.
I love it. And I'm excited to see how we can roll out some Booze Free Babes coaching well. I think to start off, we're going to probably work on some group coaching and then maybe individualized coaching, but that's going to be way down the line. But I would love for us to be able to embark on that journey together. I think it would be so much fun.
Oh yeah, it would be great.
All right, so we're rolling up on 15 minutes here. I know I wanted to kind of keep these first little sessions pretty short. Do you have any burning desires or questions from our list of questions that I sent over as like a preparation that you'd like to get out or share, or how else can we connect with you so that way anybody walking a sober path that maybe want to connect with you, how can we connect with you?
Oh gosh. Look, I have pages. Pages.
So just a little overview of these questions. We just did a high level overview of like early journey, growth, self-care, transformation, support systems, and reflections. So that's just kind of a high level overview of the content that we were wanting to hit on. And I feel like we organically touched on several of these throughout our conversation. One thing maybe that we could elaborate on a little bit more is there any self-care priority that you would like to give
Yeah.
us as a takeaway? I know you love some self-care,
Yeah.
and I do too.
Oh, absolutely. The one biggest self care, and Ellen knows this, is I started pickleball. And pickleball, oh my gosh, it has helped me so much. And was so fearful to go out there because, again, I stopped drinking. That was kind of my ability to go out there and be social without anxiety. And so I would go out to these pickleball courts and I would like drive up and I was like, I can't do it. Like, I can't do it. Like, I don't know these people. I don't want to talk to these people. I just want to play pickleball, but I have to talk to them in order to play pickleball. What am I going to do? So then I drive away and go home. And I did this like a few times before I finally got up. There was a girl I used to play tennis with, and I saw that she was going to be out there playing this one particular morning. I was like, okay, I'll go out there when she's out there because at least I can talk to her and she can introduce me to people. So I did. She was out there, Lynn. And I was like, thank you. So I went out there and everybody was so kind to me. And so then I felt more comfortable to be able to like do other venues. And I started going out to like different areas or different courts around the North area. So that was my one big self-care because I've met so many terrific people. It allows me to get out there and exercise as well as just have another like activity in my life that didn't involve going to the bar and having wine every night. You know what I mean? So it helped me
Absolutely.
meet friends as well as just have different activities. And then of course I do, like I said, I do a lot of reading. I listen to a lot of podcasts. I do a lot of journaling. So those are my main takeaways. And then that's about it, really. And that just
Okay,
that helps me focus.
I've got one more question for you. If you
Yeah.
had one book that you would suggest for anyone that may be sober curious or is interested in entertaining a sober lifestyle, what would be your one book that you'd recommend?
Can you give me 1 second? Let me get it off my nightstand.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely. And while she's doing that, I'm just going to hit on one thing real quick that she said. She talked about anxiety, right? Having anxiety before going in to play a sport that required exercise. And what is a great resource to get rid of anxiety is exercise. So I love that you have combined exercise with your self-care because it attacks that anxiety issue. Okay, great. I killed enough time. She's back with her book stack. Let's see what she's got on
So
her nightstand, everybody.
I've read a lot of books. I'd probably say the Unexpected Joy of Being Sober is probably one of my favorites. Again, I usually try to like read a lot of British people that are British authors. You know, it's me, who I am. And I recently bought this one. Elizabeth Vargas was a big like newscaster on ABC, I believe, Good Morning America, and she went through sobriety. I think probably like 2016. But yeah, so I'm in the process of reading her book. I just started. So I've always admired her. I knew that she had some issues with alcohol a few years ago, and so I saw the book the other day, and I was like, you know what, I love her, and I'm going to read about her struggle and see how she got through it. You know, still on the sober path. So anyway, that's one of my books. If you know anything about Elizabeth Vargas, because from the outside to look at her, you would have never ever imagined her to be an alcoholic. You know,
Right.
and that's the crazy thing. Because you look at many people that are recovering alcoholics, like you look at them, you're like, but they have everything together. Like they're amazing. Like what? They don't have problems. No, not a normal person. So I just find that fascinating that she's gone through the same struggle that we're going through.
And I found it fascinating when you called me to grab that coffee that
Hmm.
morning almost 2 years ago, right? We met for
Hmm.
that coffee, and Debbie and I
Oh
have known
yeah.
each other for a decade.
Yep.
And I had no idea that you even had any of those struggles or challenges because you're always so well put together and you always just show up that way. And so, we're everywhere, right?
Yep.
We come from everywhere. And really, at the base of all of it is just that we're hurt people trying to
Hmm.
soothe, and we're using coping mechanisms to do it. And the
Yep.
purpose of Booze Free Babes is to share other coping mechanisms outside of alcohol, right? Like, how
Right.
can we process emotions without having to use coping mechanisms? And that's really what we're all here trying to learn how to do as human beings on this planet.
Yeah. It's hard, but it's doable for sure. Looking
Debbie,
forward
thank you
to it.
so much. I really
Oh
appreciate you
no.
jumping on your birthday. And if you don't mind, just share with us, how long have you been sober?
June 21st was 1 year of 2024, so I'm about a year and like 4 months. Yeah.
Love it. I
Woohoo!
love it. I'm so happy that we get to walk this journey together. And thank you,
Oh, me
Debbie,
too,
for
Ellen.
being on our show today.
I love you.
I love you too,
I love
sweetie.
everything you do for our community. Our, sober community's been amazing. I love Booze Free Babes. So just thank you. I'm thankful for you every day. I mean, I know that I can pick up the phone if I'm having a bad day and you'll listen to me. Even if you don't have the answer, you'll listen to me.
You know what? And we've definitely gotten a lot closer over the
Oh
past year
yeah,
and a half too, for
absolutely.
sure.
Yep.
For sure. We've
Yep.
traveled together. Okay, I got to share this story. This actually came
Yeah.
to me before the show, and I was like, I have to share this story. If this is a testament of how chill Debbie is, we were traveling. Well, I don't need to get into the details, but we were traveling in the airport in Charleston, delayed flight multiple times. And then we finally got on the flight to New York. And I was like, okay, we might have to have
Oh
dinner
yeah.
in New York and sleep at LaGuardia, but we're still going because you're still chipper spirits about it. We're up for it. We're going. Okay. If you're cool to go on this ride with me, then we'll still go. Normally, I would have lost my shit, okay? And I would have probably not been a happy camper. But Debbie kept her cool the whole time. We ended up spending the night in New York City.
Yep.
We ended up getting a hotel on Long Island that was like an hour's drive from the airport just to
It is
sleep like
crazy.
2 hours just to come
Yes.
back to the airport. But she was
Compliment to the
cool as
airline.
a cucumber the whole time. So I could not let my bad attitude ruin her good attitude.
Aw,
So
thank
she
you, Ellen.
actually elevated me during that whole trip.
And that was without alcohol. We did amazing.
That
I have
was
to
all
say.
without alcohol. A lot of Starbucks. A lot of
Yeah, because
Starbucks.
normally we would have been at the bar going, okay, I need some wine. I need some wine. Thank you.
So thank you for going on that trip with me. And I just had to
Oh,
share
yeah.
that because you were cool as a cucumber that whole time.
Oh, thank you for noticing.
All right, folks. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap us here. Thank you so much, Debbie, for joining us today. And I hope you have a fabulous rest of your birthday. And also, if you just want to go ahead and mention your social profiles real quick so people know how to find you.
Ooh, God, Ellen, I don't even know. I'll give them next time because I can't remember right offhand. I'm going to have to
Okay,
write those
no
down.
worries.
So I have
I'm going to actually post them. I'll post them when we
Okay.
post the episode. I'll get your bio from you and we'll just post everything when we post the episode.
Okay, sounds good. Sorry.
That's okay. Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for joining. And Debbie, thank you so much for being our
All
guest.
right. See you
And
tomorrow.
we'll see you guys next time. Oh, yes, I'll see you tomorrow.
Okay. See you later. Bye.
All right, babes, that's a wrap on this week's episode of the Booze Free Babes podcast. To learn more about the Booze Free Babes, check us out online at boozefreebabes.co. You can also find us on Instagram at Booze Free Babes Podcast. If you're interested in joining our private Facebook group, we invite you to do so. Thanks again for listening, and until next time.